Hello, and welcome to Pique My Interest, a podcast dedicated to creativity. My name is Scoob Decker, and I am an artist, and your host. Pique My Interest is an exploration in meeting some incredible artists, learning about their craft, and exploring what makes them create. This episode, I welcome you to caricature art. Most folks are turned away from caricature work. The artist heightens your body features and tends to be crude with their interpretations of you. Meet Erica Missey. Erica is a little different. She finds the beauty in each person from conversation and uses her art to allow people to understand that their features make them special and define who they are. Caricature is interactive. Erica compares it to acting, playing with the audience and telling stories. Then she takes what she has learned and applies it to her drawings. It is very specific, but Erica has found her world within caricature. She explains how to find your touch within your craft and how to use your skills and experiences to explore the best artist within yourself. Erica dives into her belief that an image can have a voice and gain a life. This episode was recorded on April 30th in San Antonio. I hope you look up their work and your interest is piqued. I hope you're having a grand day, and please enjoy this week's episode I've titled Illusion of Animation. Hello, and welcome to Pique My Interest. I am currently in San Antonio, sitting with Erica Missey.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's a good day.
Fantastic. Please introduce yourselves. Where are you from and what do you do?
Okay, so my name is Erica Missey. I am a full-time artist and musician, and I mostly draw caricatures and kids' books, and I love doing it.
Fantastic. Your craft is caricature artwork. I'm so excited to get somebody who does this because it's just so unique and interesting.
Awesome.
What is your specialty within caricature work?
I love party art. I love drawing at events. I love drawing people live either on paper or on my iPad. And I've been drawing at events and parties for 30 years, and that's primarily what I like to do with art. That's my favorite thing to do, is to draw people at events and parties.
And what makes your artwork different than others in caricature?
I think my background in art, I come from an animation background, and when I was an animator, I did cleanup art, which is the fine line drawing. So my line quality is pretty good. I think a lot of people recognize my caricatures by my obsession with beautiful line work. So that's probably how my art stands out from other caricaturists. I also like to get a playfully cartoony likeness of people, so I like to exaggerate, but not too painfully so. I like to lightly exaggerate. So that's another trademark of my style.
I'm sure we'll get further into that later. But speaking of your background, do you have any education in art?
Yes, I have an art degree from Trinity University here in San Antonio, and I primarily studied studio art. So I drew lots and lots of live models, landscapes, animals. Our university is right next to the zoo, the San Antonio Zoo. So one of my classes was going down to the zoo for 6 hours a week and just drawing. Took a chair to the zoo and took a sketch pad, and I got to sit down and draw animals for the class. It was amazing. So that's my background is studio art with an emphasis on going into animation. So I learned at Trinity and from really awesome mentors that sketching quickly and getting to the gist of what a figure is doing is what helps animators get hired. And so I really, really embraced gesture drawing, and that played really, really well into caricaturing. I used to be a very shy artist, and I didn't want anybody watching me draw, and I'd be like, no, stay away, don't watch me draw. And one of my professors said, you need to try your hand at caricatures. That's going to loosen you up, and that's going to, you're going to learn how to get over being a shy artist. And he was absolutely right. It definitely opened me up, and I realized, it's fun to draw in front of people. This is fun.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier when you started out with animals. And
yes.
Most artists, drawers tend to say humans are the hardest part.
Yes.
Faces are difficult, eyes are difficult. Did you have a difficult transition from animals to humans?
Yes, it took me years of drawing people to finally start drawing people that look like people. what really helped me were comic books. I got sucked into comic books, I think I was about a freshman in high school, and I discovered X-Men and New Mutants, and it's like, oh wow, there's a template for drawing people. And about that time I also started watching Thundercats, and that was a huge inspiration to start drawing people, ironically, but that helped me a lot. Where the fact that I was a comic book collector and I was reading X-Men and New Mutants and different comics, that was a good template for here's how to draw people.
Yeah, well, and also X-Men and Thundercats is probably a great transition from creatures to humans, because most of them are creature
that's
humans.
True.
What from your background inspired you to become a creator?
I've always done it. I've always liked cartoons. I've always liked Disney movies. I saw Fox and the Hound in the theater when I was maybe 8 years old, and I left the theater and I remember thinking, I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I can draw like that, if I can make stuff move. And so I've always, I guess that's what prompts me to do most stuff in my life, is I see something I like and I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. I wonder, so I started concentrating on drawing, and I really like the illusion of animation. I love the fact that you've got pictures and you have a voice, and they come together to make this whole incredible new character that doesn't exist anywhere except in that movie, but it gains a whole life, and it's made up of drawings and actors' voices. It's incredible. So it's really very inspiring to see that happen.
It's fantastic. You say you do a lot of parties.
Yes.
As a caricature artist, I feel like that's giving you a lot of work. There's always parties.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself successful? What is success in your craft? And what really got you succeeding in your craft?
I would consider myself successful. And the reason that I feel that way is that I get to do caricatures as full-time as an artist can, really. I do a lot. I stay very busy with parties and events, and I enjoy it. I've been doing it for 30 years and it's still fun. And I think if you do anything for 30 years and you're still having fun with it, keep doing that,
What got you succeeding in your craft? As artists, especially in a performance art, we all have an idea of what success is. Broadway, an end goal, making $100,000 performance. But I've also interviewed artists who just say, just doing it is success.
Well, in my case, I do pay most of my bills from caricaturing. So I've got a house and 2 cars, and I'm able to have a collection of kitty cats, and I'm lucky enough that I get to do most of that because of caricaturing. So I would say it's a business, but it's also fun. So it's also, I'd say caricaturing is the closest to acting that you can come as an artist, because we get to have fun with people. It's kind of like being on stage. You get to draw, and you get to talk with people, and you get to have fun with people, and it's all spontaneous. It's an experience that you have that doesn't exist anywhere else except at the party with the person at that moment, and it's just a lot of fun.
You're finding the story within a conversation, and finding a way to bring that out in your drawing. That's really incredible. While we were getting food earlier, Erica did a caricature of myself, and it was wonderful and lovely, and I'll post that with this episode so you can see it. But I think what was more unbelievable to me was that she had a full conversation while drawing, and while we were talking about things, she was asking certain questions to figure out certain personality traits or certain things. Can you go into your creation process a little bit? What do you see before you draw, or what's going on in your head before you draw?
Okay, well, as people are sitting down, I get a good look at everybody, and then I like to launch into, say I'm drawing a family of 3. I like to draw the youngest person first, and I will look at the kiddos, and I'll ask if it's a young child, that won't be able to answer me back. I like to ask questions, what's your name? How old is your child? And kind of talk to the kids. And I have kind of a formula when I do caricatures. I like to start with the outside. I work outside in. So I tend to draw the hair first, the shape of the face, And then I start going into the features. I go into the bridge of the nose and then the nose and kind of go, I tend to go feature by feature and decide in that instant what I want to do with that feature. So if at the nose, is it going to be larger, smaller? Is it going to be longer? Is it going to be much shorter? I kind of make those decisions just while I'm drawing people and talking with them too. And it all kind of works together somehow.
Just
it's kind of this magic, this elixir of caricatureness.
We also talked a little bit earlier about the sensitivity of body image.
Right.
Some people do not like features of themselves. Actually, I should say most people don't like features of themselves.
Right.
And as a caricature artist, I feel like you are heightening features or finding certain things. Can you explain a little bit about the difficulties or the problems that are talked about in caricature work?
Yes, most people are very sensitive to the way they look, and as a caricaturist, you have to kind of be able to get a read on people, whether they can be exaggerated a little bit more, or if they can be, or if we need to make it more of a portrait kind of caricature. In talking to people, I try to get a sense of their sense of humor and how far I can push a drawing. Typically, in my years of doing this, most people want to look like themselves, or they want to look a little better. I get
double chin.
Yeah, exactly. Take 20 pounds off, make me 10 years younger. No double chin. And so I kind of ride a line of let's make it fun and cartoony and also cute. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, if I feel the person has the sense of humor, I'll push it even more. And in some cases, lately especially, I'm getting a lot of people that are asking if I can just go crazy on them, a la TikTok caricatures. And so I'm finding myself, some people really want the crazy abstract drawings, and I can do that. It takes a little more effort for me because I'm so used to my cute style, but I can push it if I need to. But it seems to me there's still the majority of people really don't want the super abstract stuff. Or if if they get it, sometimes they're like, there's a little buyer's remorse sometimes when they see it. But as a caricaturist, I would like people to get a drawing and be able to remember getting drawn and have that fun memory, but also have the caricature that they can look at for the next 20 years on their wall and enjoy that. So
yeah, I've definitely seen some really crude drawings, but I think what I appreciate about yours is it really does capture the person with not only personality traits but facial features as well.
That's important to me. I want people to be able to recognize themselves in the drawing. I don't want them to look at it and go, "Who is that?" I really hope that they recognize themselves in the drawing. That's very important to me.
I've also noticed you do a lot with your iPad and pen and paper. Which one do you prefer?
These days, I like them both. 5 years ago, I would have said paper hands down. I do so many iPad caricature events now that I like them both. They're just completely different tools. It's really all they are different tools. So the paper caricatures are very fun and spontaneous, and you can't do any correcting. Once the marker's on the paper, it's there unless you start the drawing over. Whereas the iPad caricatures, you can kind of do some quick editing if you want to, but they're both fun. Yeah, the iPad caricatures are the advantage of using those. Getting digital caricatures is that you can get a digital copy later. So for hosts of parties, say 30 of their guests get drawn, well, the host also gets the drawing. So that's kind of a nice advantage with the digital, whereas on the paper drawings, they usually, the guests take the paper drawings and the host doesn't get to see all of them. So it's a variety of different ways to have a caricature experience.
How long does a drawing take?
On paper, it typically takes 3 to 4 minutes if I'm doing black and white. On the iPad, it takes a little bit longer, mainly just because you have to email or airdrop or print the drawing after drawing it. So it takes about 5 or 6, 7 minutes roughly.
Fantastic. What inspires you? What gets your creative juices flowing? I know we talked a little earlier, you're wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt right now.
I like a lot of cartoons. I like Disney. I like Marvel. I like comic books, ElfQuest. There's so many cartoons out there, but I also like fine art. I like to go to galleries. I like to see paintings, abstracts, landscapes. I love seeing art in general, and that really shapes, it kind of works into the way I do caricatures too. I like all kinds of art. I love being in San Antonio. We have a lot of murals around town. We have a lot of graffiti art that's just amazing. But and there are also a lot of caricaturists, so I get inspired by working with other artists too. It's always fun to watch other people work and see what techniques they have, and learn from them as well.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit on your social media, a little bit of your abstract painting. Do you think that affects your caricature work? Are you finding certain styles and techniques that you go, oh, I could use this in my caricature work?
I think it's kind of the other way around. I think the caricature work influences the paintings. I know that when I paint abstract, if I tend to do line work, it's very loose and very fluid, but that's also the way I draw caricatures. So those two, I guess they work together. But my paintings, they're usually completely abstract, so they're not figurative at all. They're just mostly like crazy colors and line patterns and stuff. And I guess you could see that I love lines. You see that in my paintings and in the caricatures.
Have you ever thought about doing like abstract painting on the iPad?
I've done it a little bit.
Okay. Being able to take things off and erase and go back.
I've done some of it. I really like painting on canvas though. I like the brushes and the paint and the feel of the canvas. So I really like and I like having a canvas that's, once you're finished, it can just hang on a wall. It's ready to go. And so there's something about the traditional technique there that I really like. But I have done a little bit of abstract on the iPad too, so it's fun too. Oh.
As an artist, we've all run into a wall. We've hit that creative block. How do you overcome a creative block?
If I've been caricaturing, if it's been a really busy season like Christmas, December is usually pretty insane for us caricaturists. Everybody's having their holiday parties, and there's a lot of weddings and New Year's Eve. So usually toward the end of December, when all the parties die down, I can be pretty fried. Yeah. So I really have to take a few days off from caricaturing and not draw. It's helpful for me to just not draw at all and just go enjoy, maybe go look at art, play music, do something completely different.
Look at art, not do art.
Yeah. Instead of making it just, observe it, enjoy it. And usually within a few days, like, okay, let's
refresh.
We're back to ground zero.
I'm sure just walking around for a few hours just drawing repetitively, I'm sure after a while some characters might start to look similar or... you have to, in my case, if I feel like my drawings are starting to get a little stale, I have to change the technique. So I usually start with the outside of the face and work inward. If I get bored or if I'm getting stale, I'll start with the nose. I'll take a person, or I'll start with the eyes. And that kind of shakes me out of my, it gets me out of my rut. And so that's usually what I'll do is I'll start somewhere different, or that's the easiest way to get out of a rut. Or I'll draw somebody. It's easy. Okay, so at a party, I don't have the luxury of time. So I have to keep continuously drawing. Mm-hmm. And starting at a different point on the face is the easiest way. But in my own artwork, if I have time and I'm not drawing at an event, just getting away from, stepping away, doing something completely unrelated to art is a good refresher. Yeah. You also mentioned around the holidays you might get busy. Do you like themed parties? We talked earlier a little bit about Star Wars and dinosaurs.
Yes. In fact, I do specialized caricatures once in a while where a client will have me draw, say, 20 people in the office in a particular style. So one year I had a company that wanted a drawing of people on dinosaurs. They had to be dressed either as Jedi or stormtroopers. So Star Wars fans, dinosaurs, why not? So it's fun. Sometimes doing those kind of caricatures is a lot of fun. I have in fact, this coming weekend, I have a birthday party where the mom was asking if I can draw dinosaurs and put dinosaurs in the pictures. I'm like, absolutely. I like doing stuff that's a little out there. That's fun.
Amazing. What other hobbies do you have? And do they complement or contradict your craft?
I play music. I have a band called Hell Grim, and I play drums and I sing. And the music that we do is hard rock, metal. It's a little on the darker side. So I would say that it's fairly opposite my caricature business, and it's kind of fun that I get to use both. I tease that I draw the light and happy, fun stuff, and then I get to sing about the darkness and the darker side of the world, and it's fun mixing them up. So our band, we play out, we record, we tour, we really enjoy playing music. I watch a lot of movies. I love film. We have cats at home. I love the cats. and I like exploring a lot. We like to travel. With the band, we get to actually go on the road quite a bit, and we love visiting other cities and states and countries and seeing how people live over there.
Yeah, you said later you're going over to the UK for a
Yes,
tour.
we just found out. Yeah, we're going to be in the UK in October and November. We're very excited. We've been there once before, and we did a tour in 2023. And this time we're hitting some different cities and different clubs. No, we're not doing any of the same clubs we did before. And it'll be fun to see new places while we're over there.
Now, I'm not sure if you have a connection between the two, but I definitely noticed while you were showing me some of your work, your storybook work for the children's books. The children's books that you're making definitely has some monsters in it that I feel has been affected by your love for the rock and roll, as well as you showed me some of the artwork that you do for your cover work for the band, which also has a little of your artwork in it as well. So
there's definitely some crossover. There's a lot of cuteness in the drawings, and then there's a little bit of darkness, and it depends on it. A lot of it depends on what I'm drawing for. It depends on the target audience, for sure.
Would you recommend to go to school or take classes to build on caricature artists?
Yes. I have a 4-year degree. I don't think it's necessary to go to college to be a caricaturist, but I think that any kind of drawing classes are definitely helpful. People nowadays, you have YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. You have all these places where you can get video reference of people demonstrating how to do caricatures and how to draw, and for people that don't necessarily want to go the college route, you don't have to. For caricaturing, the most important part is loving to draw. You have to like to draw, and you have to enjoy drawing people. It helps to really like having fun with people. If you like people and you like drawing, caricaturing. It's a great job. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
To me, when I draw as a theater person, I always have the lack of confidence going into a drawing. I just can't see something in my head, get a pen to a paper, and go, that's exactly what I wanted. Do you feel that your experiences in school definitely give you confidence with your work?
Yes, but I also think that even every day when I illustrate children's books, I have to draw anything. Sometimes I have to draw a city street, or I have to draw a room full of people, and that's it's a learning experience for every single drawing. You're always learning, and you're never, especially drawing something complex, it's not going to happen easily on the page. You have to rough it out. I have to sculpt it on paper, and I have to do several drafts before I get it right. So it's always a learning. Every single drawing I do is a learning process, and school, education helps, but also just studying images and really trying to figure out, what are you trying to draw here? What are you trying to convey with this drawing? It's a lot of trying to figure out what is the message you're trying to get across with this particular drawing. Lots of thought work goes into things like children's books. Before you even put pencil to paper, it's a lot of background thinking of, planning out, how do I want to do this? And then you do it, and you're like, oh wait, maybe that's not working as well as I thought. Let me try it this way, or there's a lot of thought that goes in it. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for somebody trying to get started in caricature work?
My advice, well, specifically here in San Antonio, for someone getting started, my best advice would be to talk to Commons Art Shops. They run the caricature stands at SeaWorld and Fiesta, Texas, and the San Antonio Zoo. They have a training program, and they hire for people for spring break in the summer. They usually start hiring around the beginning of the year. But if you are interested in art and interested in finding out if you like doing caricatures, I would go through them and go through their training program and see. And a good way to know if you like caricatures is to work at one of the theme parks for a season. It's you learn a lot. You'll learn a lot from that, and that's probably the easiest way to get started with caricaturing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend to somebody who's going into it.
And as a caricature artist, I feel like you kind of have to have a little bit of a thick skin. If you turn your portrait around and they don't like it, or they say that's not right, you have to stand your ground as an artist.
Yes.
How do you handle criticism?
You will not make everybody happy. It's impossible to make every single person that you draw happy. You try your best. On a good day, I probably make about 90% of the people I draw happy. There are going to be some people that aren't going to like your drawings. And what I've found over the years is a lot of times the first reason they might not like a drawing is they don't quite understand what a caricature is. They're thinking that maybe it's going to be a portrait, it's going to look exactly like them, and they are unfamiliar with what a caricature is, which is, it's an exaggerated version of you, a cartoon version of you. So that's half the problem right there. And it's not, you explain as best you can. It's not a portrait. It's a fun likeness. And if people are really hurt, they can throw the drawing away. But
don't tell Erica that.
But you're not going to please everyone. And some people, they don't know what a caricature is, or you might be drawing at an event with 3 artists, and they might like someone else's style better, and that's okay. What you have to do is try your best. Every time you draw somebody, you have to draw the best that you can, and know that you did the best job that you could, with the folks at the party.
You gotta just do the best you can.
Yeah. If absolutely necessary, you redraw someone. If they're that adamant that they don't like it and they want to redraw, well, then you redraw them. If you have time, do it again. But more often than not, sometimes people don't see themselves in their caricature, but their friends standing around will be like, that is you. That is more you than you. So, you just... Yeah.
Leave it to your friends. Are there any misconceptions about your craft?
Yes. A lot of artists that I know, a lot of people don't feel like caricaturing is a very worthy style of art. I think people look down on caricaturing a lot, which puzzles me because it's, in my experience as an artist, it's the best paying and it's the most fun art job I've ever had. But I've worked in industries where people were not interested in caricatures at all, and it just always amazed me. I didn't understand it. It's a fun occupation, and it's not fine art. It's not a painting that you would pay $1,000 for, but it's an experience. It's more of an entertainment art, and that's what I find fascinating about it. Is you get to make art and you get to entertain at the same time.
Yeah. I definitely feel that it's a speed art, if you will.
Yes.
And I can see how fine artists say, well, you're not taking the time,
right,
effort. But to me, what you are doing and still evoking that feeling and still telling a story with your pictures and still having that conversation, I admire that a ton.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Do you have any funny or interesting stories about your work off the top of your head?
I've been to some events, especially weddings, where people can get a little silly. So I had one wedding that I did years ago where people had been drinking all day before the wedding, and by the time I got there, they were pretty gone. By the time I left the wedding, the mother of the bride was being escorted away in handcuffs by the police because she got a little too rowdy, and apparently was causing a disturbance in the hallways of the hotel. She was banging on people's doors, and she was having fun. So I've seen some rowdy moms of the brides, having fun. I've had some children say and do some funny things. I've seen all kinds of stuff. It's been crazy. I was threatened by an 8-year-old one time that if she didn't like my drawing, she was going to cut me with a knife. I was like, "Where's your mom?" I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Weddings just bring out the best in people.
They
don't
do, but they're fun. I saw. I did a wedding recently where the mother of the groom walked into the reception with a spider monkey on her shoulder, and I had to look at the other caricatures. So I was like, "Did we just see that? That was a spider monkey wearing a diaper in a wedding reception. That was kind of cool, you know." I worked an event years ago where they at a birthday party for an 18-year-old where they had a Siberian tiger in a cage that you could take photos in front of. They had performers from Cirque du Soleil brought in to do cool stuff. They had a band in the backyard, a band in the side yard, a band in the front yard. It's a very elaborate, very extravagant event. But so it's been very interesting, and I've drawn at all kinds of things. Lots of birthdays, lots of company parties, lots of just fun stuff.
And what's next for the world of caricature art? I feel like that has taken leaps and bounds with the iPad and the different apps and whatnot. But what's next?
I can't say for sure with technology because I tend to not be I'm more of a techno peasant. If I'm using technology, it's usually because I'm kind of been pushed into it. But I can see a lot of stuff happens online. A lot of people do events over Zoom where you draw people, from another country, and they're on a Zoom call and you're drawing them and showing them the drawing. But lots of iPad drawings. Now with the 3D brushes, I could see like a lot of virtual caricatures and a lot of 3D caricatures probably happening. For me, I just see more and more parties and events and doing what I do. I don't know how I would make that a lot different at the moment, but you never know.
You never know. Do you think with the recent addition to our society with artificial intelligence, do you think that will possibly take away some caricature work in the future?
I'm lucky enough that the art I do is mostly live and it's at events. I don't see how they can replace a live artist yet.
Financial, it could probably just be way cheaper than hiring somebody. I know you can just type in certain things like, here's my face, make me look silly, and it'll give you 5 different pictures, and then you just don't even have to hire a character artist anymore.
That's true. But I haven't seen that at parties yet.
Good. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think there's still people like having the human sitting there and drawing them. So I'm hoping that I can do this as long as possible.
Well, and like I said, I think a part of your craft is having that conversation and having that connection. So
yeah.
I love that. And you said for yourself personally, you're just hoping to do some parties and just continue the same.
Continue what I'm doing. I'd like to, I love drawing the children's books. I'd love to see them sell lots of copies of children's books and hopefully keep working with the authors that I've been lucky enough to work with. And
there is one published book, right?
There's actually, I've got about 19 out right now.
And what are those called?
Oh, goodness.
All of them?
Let's see. One author I've worked for, I did 5 books for Eric Kesselman, and he does animalosophy books. So he's got a book called the Existential Giraffe and the Nihilistic Sea Otter and the Moribund Mouse and the Perspicacious Penguin. I've got another author, Clint Schoen, and I did several books for him, and they're just all different topics, and they're really cute. There's one about an animated jack-o'-lantern that gets in adventures with the human that adopts him from the pumpkin patch. It's a little Halloween story. And then there's a Santa Claus story where Santa tries to retire, and he didn't tell his wife, and then she finds out. And it does not, she fixes the situation real quick. It's like, oh no, you can't retire. And then currently I'm working with Paul Ennemark, and his first book, Gideon's Journey, is a really awesome adventure story for people that are just getting into chapter books. It's a really cute book, very good read. And I'm working on part 2 right now. So hopefully that will be out sometime soon. So I'd love to get more books that I really, really enjoy. I'd love to illustrate more of those.
Yeah. And where can we see your work or work like it?
I have a website, ericatures.com, and that's my name, Erica, and then half of the word caricature, ERICATURES.com. Oh my gosh.
Artists.
Yep.
And you also are on Instagram?
Yes, I'm on Instagram, and Facebook is Caricatures Entertainment. I have a lot of caricature and painting samples and children's book samples on ericatures.com.
And TikTok.
And TikTok, that's right. I'm on TikTok too.
I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about our social media society is that you can reach out with all your work and you can just showcase what you have.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where I enjoy other people's work too.
Yeah.
I love stalking other artists. So yeah, send me links and I like you and stalk your work and admire it.
I can't thank you enough for joining me and piquing my interest. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Oh, thank you, Scoob, for having me. This was a blast.
Do end with one question.
Okay.
If you could excel in any other craft, what would it be?
In any other craft? Oh, gosh. What would it be? I would like to learn 10 more languages in the next 3 or 4 years. I like languages, so I'm working on Spanish now. I've been working on Spanish my entire life, but I'm really trying to work on it now, and I would love to learn more languages. I think that would be something I'd like to do more of.
Fantastic. And thank you to all my peekers out there. Please let me know if you know of any special or unique artists or art forms you think I should explore. I am currently in San Antonio and cannot wait to see where PMI takes me next. Remember, creativity comes from the heart. Push yourselves, be kind to each other. I'm Scoob Decker, and thank you for helping me pique my interest.